Okay, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the elect of Israel. The title of this video will be Let the Weak Say I'm Strong. And I'm going to share with you an article from the Washington Post that's going into North Korea launching test missiles today, testing their nuclear missiles, and just going into how it's adding up to something troubling. Because I shared an article and a video a few weeks ago that was about North Korea proclaiming war on the U.S. And in that article, some cocky American prick was on there going in about North Korea's missile defense is primitive at best, and they were mocking the North Koreans like they wasn't a real threat. But now it's like they're singing a different tune. So I'm going to bring out this article. Like I said, it's from the Washington Post. It is titled, "These North Korean Missile Launches Are Adding Up to Something Very Troubling." And I'm going to go into the article and I'm going to just bring out the key points. It's a good bit of information in it, so I'm going to jump right in it. North Korea is touting technological progress in its nuclear program, saying after a nuclear test Friday that it can now produce smaller, lighter, and diversified nuclear warheads of higher strike power. But it is also making strides in its missile program. Analysts say advances that can enable it to outsmart missile defense systems, which could make the missiles more attractive to potential customers. So all of that guy that was in that article talking about primitive at best, it seems a little bit better than primitive to me. North Korea conducted what it called a nuclear warhead explosion test Friday. The country has conducted 5 nuclear tests since its program began, but this is the third since Kim Jong-un took power at the end of 2011 and its second this year. So they had only 5 since the program began, but they've had 2 this year and 3 since this guy came into power. So that lets you know things are heating up. You got North Korea conducting nuclear warhead tests. You got Russia practicing World War III drills. You got all these countries sharpening their swords, so to speak, because things are heating up. The mighty men are coming out and preparing for battle. Under Kim's leadership, North Korea has also sharply accelerated the pace of missile testing, with almost 24 launches this year alone. While many of the year's tests have not been successful and there are still many unknowns about North Korea's nuclear and missile programs, there have still been noticeable and concerning improvements. It seems like North Korea is trying to qualitatively improve its missiles and develop options to evade or fool U.S. missile defenses. So, hey, they can get around the U.S. missile defenses. Doesn't sound too primitive to me, said Kelsey Davenport, director of the non-proliferation policy at the Arms Control Association. If this continues unchecked, they could develop an intercontinental ballistic missile that could pose a threat to the U.S. in the next decade, which really could be sooner than that, and they may already have it. In its most recent salvo, North Korea launched 3 medium-range missiles Monday as China, which had joined the international condemnation of last month's submarine-launched ballistic missile, was hosting the Group of 20 summit in Hangzhou, if I'm pronouncing that right, Hangzhou. The rockets flew about 600 miles, putting Hangzhou within range, but they were sent in the other direction, falling inside Japan's air defense identification zone. Arms control experts have since been poring over photos of the launches released by the North Korean media. Shows 3 missiles being launched in a space of a minute from trucks parked on a highway south of Pyongyang, if that's the correct pronunciation. But remember this when I go into the scriptures, this line right here. 3 missiles being launched in the space of a minute. The location is within the security belt protecting Kim and the other regime elites in the capital, said Michael Madden, editor of the North Korean Leadership Watch website. That meant the drills could be simulating the collapse of the state or the presence of hostile forces within the country, he said. But it was the modifications to the missiles that surprised the rocket scientists at the James Martin Center for Non-Proliferation Studies in Monterey, California. It appears that North Korea has extended the distance a short-range Scud can fly, making it halfway between a Scud and a medium-range missile, which the North Koreans call a Radong. That means that a longer-range missile could be wheeled out of an existing Scud transporter, obviating the need to produce new trucks. Syria is among the countries thought to have bought short-range Scuds from North Korea in about 2000. This is a really nice upgrade, said Jeffrey Lewis, director of the East Asian Non-Proliferation Program in Monterey. Countries looking to buy North Korean missiles are probably looking at this and thinking, that's nice. So yeah, man, they're making strides in their missile program. North Korea has been concentrating on developing road mobile missiles that can be fueled in a shelter or tunnel instead of a traditional launch pad that can be detected by satellites and theoretically invite a preemptive strike. So they're working on ways where they can launch their missiles from they have road mobile missiles where they can launch them from these trucks instead of using a launch pad that the satellites can detect. Japan's self-defense forces did not detect Monday's launch in advance, the Nikkei newspaper reported. It said this underscored the limits of Japan's traditional defense capability program. In the past, when activity was seen around a launch pad, Japan's self-defense forces would roll out Patriot Advanced Capability, PAC-3, interceptors at the Defense Ministry headquarters in Tokyo, but road mobile missiles can be ready for launch in a matter of minutes, cutting the time available to respond. Japan is very concerned that North Korea has launched so many different missiles in such a short period, said Asuya Tanimoto of the Japanese Defense Ministry's Intelligence Analysis Office. North Korea is improving its technology, he said. North Korea also appears to be looking for other ways to avoid interception, no doubt motivated by South Korea's recent decision to host the Terminal High Altitude Area Defense anti-missile unit for the U.S. military. The battery is due to be deployed to a site south of Seoul next month. But by firing the 3 missiles within the space of a minute rather than over the usual course of an hour or so, North Korea appeared to be testing a way to make it more difficult to intercept incoming missiles, said Joseph Bermudez Jr., Chief Analytics Officer at the All Source Analysis, a Colorado-based consulting group. The launch was probably designed to test not only the operational readiness but to develop tricks to defeat anti-missile defense in Japan and in South Korea, Bermudez said. Now, I'm going to just stop it right there, but you basically get the gist of the whole article. North Korea is making advancements in their missile program. So I'm going to but this is all prophecy. So I'm going to bring out these scriptures to go along with it. And I'm going to start with the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. So that's what North Korea did. They said their missile program was primitive. They beat their plowshares and the hooks, and that's just symbolizing weapons. And they say, let the weak say, I am strong. They have brought themselves up to the point where they're becoming strong too. They're working on their missile programs. They're working on their nuclear missiles launches and all of that. They're working on programs to be able to contend with this devil. Verse 11, assemble yourselves and come all ye heathen and gather yourselves together round about thither, because the mighty ones Cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be awakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, which in the Hebrew that's Yahweh Shaphat, which means Yahweh's judgment. So basically come up to the valley of judgment. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full. The vats overflow, for their wickedness is great. So that's why you see all these tests. They say that they've been doing more and more tests. The harvest is ripe. We are right on the cusp of World War III. It's coming real soon. I'm going to bring out the next scripture. Just bear with me 1 second. Okay, yeah. I'm going to jump to the book of Revelation, chapter 18. Now start at verse 6. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works. In the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double. How much hath she glorified herself and lived deliciously? So much torment and sorrow give her. For she said that her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. That's like that other article I brought out a few weeks ago, saying they wasn't worried about North Korea or its threats. They think that they're so high-minded, this devil think he's not going down. Verse 8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord power who judgeth her. Now, you remember in this article where they talk about instead of over a span of an hour, they could send these missiles out within a span of minutes. That lines right up with the scriptures. Her plagues shall come in one day, and the burning and mourning and famine shall be utterly burned with fire. Her plague shall come in one day, in one instant. All of this stuff is going to come on America over a short span of time. Verse 9. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. And that's talking about when this place is burning down from nuclear destruction. All the people that made money out of this place, they're going to bemoan and wail. They're going to lament for America, because this will no longer be their honey hole. Everybody will see the smoke and the burning of this place. And this is one of the signs of it to come. These North Koreans are going to be part of the people to send missiles on this place too. Everybody's sharpening their swords and getting their nuclear missile game right. So America can't be the only one running that boo game with the nuclear missiles. Everybody else got them too. And like they said, ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. Now a lot of these rabbits, these smaller countries who were looked over, they got this nuclear technology too. And it's just another step closer to us going into World War III and the destruction of America, which is Babylon the Great. And with that, I'm going to say shalom.